Greetings, true believers. Welcome back to the channel. And today we are continuing our comic book reviews with issue number 2 of Peter Simeti's The Chair through Alterna Comics, written by Peter Simeti and drawn by Kevin Christensen. And I am joined once again by the lovely Alice Rhiannon. Alice, how you doing?
Great, and how are you?
I'm doing good. So, again, The Chair is a 4-part limited series. It's a psychological horror thriller, and it deals with the human capacity for evil. So, on to issue 2. And at the end of issue 3, our protagonist, Richard Sullivan, he was taken by a guy named Enric, who we now know is the warden.
Yeah.
He's taken by the warden, and he is basically being tortured, apparently for no other reason than just being tortured. Actually, as we saw in issue 1, he killed the guy that was mopping up the floor with his friend Jimmy's entrails. He killed a guy. So as punishment for killing the guy, he is with the warden, getting some special attention from the warden. So going over the 5 topics again, the art and writing, the quality, the story, character development, and our overall impressions. Alice, what did you think of the art and the writing in this issue?
I was really impressed. I thought that they really took it in a good direction, being able to really have the art make you feel the hopelessness of the situation, and it really grasps the cold psychopathy of the whole thing. I even noticed there's like some subliminal devil horns on the warden, which I thought was kind of a nice touch.
You pointed that out to me. I'm like, whoa, look at that! Like, holy crap! Like, I didn't even looking at it, I'm just like, oh, it's just his hair. But like, no, in the darker shadows, like it looks like
the devil.
It looks like devil horns. Yeah, it's
yeah,
really evil. Like the guy, and the guy's actions like just convey exactly how evil he is.
It really does.
And remorseless. It's just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this, and I'm evil, and screw it.
And then I thought it was really interesting too, being able to see the reflection of Sullivan in the warden's glasses. Where you're like, okay, well, yeah, you get this feeling of the people being tortured, they don't feel real.
Right.
You know, the prisoners they aren't real to him.
So yeah, to him they're just like objects.
Yeah.
They're just things to play with. And he even says there's a couple of lines of dialogue where it's like, are gonna play with you or something along those lines.
Exactly.
So yeah, for me the art it's growing on me. Again, it's not something that I would normally gravitate towards, but for the subject matter and the darkness of the story, it's helping to convey along with the story and the dialogue that it fits. It's really fitting, and it really emphasizes the darkness and like the hopelessness of the whole situation.
Yeah, it does.
All right, so the quality, again, it's on newsprint, which has for me that nostalgic feel. How did you like this second issue?
I thought it was great. I thought that the whole quality and really the whole thing together as a package really it helps to really bring the nightmare to life in a way where it's like you feel like you are in a nightmare.
Yeah, it really does draw you in, and I think the darkness, like all of the pages are black, and the art is like printed onto the black. Just the blackness kind of draws you in, and you're kind of forced to look at the center of each and every page, and you're just like as you're going through the panels, there's nothing but blackness around. There's nothing but darkness, and it just really reflects like this whole world is just dark that you've entered, and like you're in the middle of it. It's kind
very inescapable.
Yeah, it's a very claustrophobic feeling, kind of.
Definitely.
And being set in a prison, it even adds to it a little bit. I get a claustrophobic vibe from it, definitely. So the story, we're continuing the story, and Richard Sullivan, the guy who's on death row, has been there for 10 years. With everything that's going on, the death of his friend Jimmy, and the warden taking him and torturing him, like putting him on this rack system, kind of like where you're drawn and quartered type of thing, where he's pulling his he dislocates his shoulder.
And he's overhearing all kinds of horrible shit going on in the prison, just some horrible shit.
He yells and screams and everything.
Yeah.
And then at one point there's just silence, and he's like, the silence is worse than the noise. At least with the noise, you know that something's going on. With the silence, it's even scarier because you don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, you have the warden planning, like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and they have the warden is To me, it felt like the warden is slightly intimidated by Sullivan because Sullivan is very aggressive. He's just like, come on, he's very aggressive towards him. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Come over here and say that to my face, that type of thing. Whereas all the other prisoners that have gone to the warden, they're just like, no, please, like, no.
Yeah.
So, moving on to character development. How do you feel about our boy Richard Sullivan here? How does he make you feel?
Well, I'm definitely getting this whole feeling that this whole story is it's a really real thing going on here. It's like, is that being in prison? Sorry. Yeah, so actually, Richard Sullivan, we're getting to see he's here for no reason, and it's just this hopelessness that he's going through, where you get to see him really just give up at some points, where he's
Right.
really struggling with whether or not he's going to even continue, because it's just so horrible in this place.
Right, it is. I mean, he's there for a reason. I mean, he was tried and convicted, but he claims that he didn't do it, that he's actually the one person that's innocent. So in a sense, he is there for no reason, other than him being falsely convicted.
Yeah.
And that's the sense that we get from him. Like, all of this is going on, and like I'm kind of resigning myself to this whole horrible situation. But it's just like, well, it's a total feeling of hopelessness that he has. But at the same time, he has a level of anger. It's just like, fuck you guys. You guys are horrible. You guys are like subhuman.
Yeah.
Especially towards the guards, and more so towards Enric, even though he definitely, because of his previous encounter with Enric, he's like, oh God, like when he shows up, it's like, he's like, who is that? It's like, let me remind you, and he throws his glasses at him. Oh my God, it's you. Like, there's that fear there, like, oh my God, it's this guy who's trying to rip my arms out of the sockets.
You're getting to see this whole development of him, just getting to see this warden just become very demonic, actually.
Yeah, very demonic. Very, very demonic. There's a point where, we'll get to that point in just a minute. But I want to talk about the other inmate that we first got a glimpse of him in issue 1. We didn't touch on it then because, honestly, I didn't see the relevance of talking about him. But it becomes relevant in the second issue here. There's an inmate named Tudley.
Yeah.
And this guy, in the first issue, he was screaming and ranting, like chanting almost, like evil and all these words like the devil, we're in hell, and you're evil and you're demonic, and there's a phrase that he says over and over again. What was that phrase? I'm trying to remember. Where they are walking, the dead walks too.
Yeah, slay the evil that lives inside you. Where they are walking, the devil walks too.
Right. That's what he was saying. And like at first, I didn't pay any mind to it. I honestly thought it was like graffiti on the wall, but the way it's drawn, that it's dialogue, but it's a standout type of font or lettering that's done that makes you
right.
But in the second issue, I'm now aware that that's actually somebody in the other cell saying these things.
It's coming through the wall.
Yeah, and it's like him saying this over and over again, like, it's like a repeat. It's like a broken record. And Sullivan's like, "Would you shut up? Would you just shut up?"
Yeah.
And then finally, the guards take the guy and hand him over to Enric, and like they just do some. No spoilers, but they do some very depraved stuff to this guy. Like seriously, like, oh my God, what's going on? Like, think Shawshank Redemption times 10.
Yeah.
And you get the sense of what I'm talking about. It's just really like I saw what was going on. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like seriously? Like this is dark and like twisted.
This whole story, it starts to get really brutal, and it's definitely got some intensifying subject matter where it starts to get a lot more twisted.
Yeah, definitely more twisted. And then we move on to, we already mentioned the guards. The guard do some depraved things to Tudley while Enric is torturing him. They even, I think at one point mentions that whatever they were doing to him, Tudley tried to bite one of the guards' fingers off, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's just like, what the hell? Like, ouch. Yeah. Ouch much.
Right?
And then there's a point where the warden is talking about Sullivan and commenting on how Sullivan is more aggressive than the other prisoners that he's worked on, and that they're preparing something special for him, apparently.
Right.
And then the issue ends where the warden confronts Sullivan in his cell and is basically saying, we're going to see each other soon, and when we do, it'll be the last time we'll see each other. So it's just like, oh no, something bad is going to happen. We know something bad is going to happen because what we saw to Tudley. So something bad is in store for our boy Richard Sullivan, but we just don't know what. and we know that Enric is planning that whatever happens is going to be the last time it happens.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the Warden overall?
Well, it's just gotten more screwed up as we've gone along. I mean,
yeah, we should might as well push into the overall impressions of issue 2.
Yes, this one is actually. See, the first one, it definitely took my mind a little wrapping around kind of the whole art of it, the whole everything about it. But this one really, it sucked me in really, really fast. It was so crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
It really was.
I agree.
I can't wait to read the next one.
Yeah, the first issue, I was like, like what's going on, and then I definitely got pulled in like immediately once getting into it, and then the second issue here is just like, whoa, what's next? What's next?
We need to know.
So yeah, we need to know. These are the things we want to know. Peter Simeti has hooked us on his story, so
we have questions. We have questions. We have questions over here.
We have lots of questions. So issue 3 is titled "At Death's Doorstep." So we're going to be reviewing that issue next. And I guess you can look forward to that one. So that's all for this one, guys. As always, like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell to find out when we drop new videos. Alice, where can they find you on social media?
At Gravity56.
That's right. For everything. Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah,
all the good stuff. All the good stuff. Right. And I'm on Twitter. I am at Mavs Opinions, MAVS Opinions, and on Tumblr. I do have a Tumblr, but we're not going to be talking about Tumblr. That's on Twitter. On Instagram, it's Maverick Opinions.
There you go.
So as always, that's it for this one, guys. We will see you all in the next one. Peace.
Peace out.